Hello, everyone, and welcome to Onevest Startup Investing with Barbara Corcoran. We have a very packed schedule, so we'll jump right into it. For those of you who are new to Onevest community, what Onevest is we're a startup investing platform where we connect early stage startups with accredited investors. Now, we've actually been around for 4 years now, and we've had the pleasure to be featured in a number of different globally recognized media publications. And today I'm coming to you from our headquarters in New York. We also have offices in San Francisco and in Maryland. Now, here's a little bit about me. I'm going to be your moderator for today. My name is Tanya Prive, and I'm the co-founder and COO of Onevest. A little bit about my background. I graduated from Parsons with a degree in design and management, focused on product. Spent the first 4.5 years of my career in the financial media space at Fox News and mostly at Forbes, where I was accountable for audience growth and as well for sales. Still work for Forbes to some extent because I write for them. And you can actually see my blog at forbes.com/sites/Tanya Prive, everything to do with startups and funding and startup investing. So there's a lot of good content there. And more relevant to you, part of my role at Onevest is to help with investor relations. So if you have any questions about our process, how the startup investing process works on Onevest or a particular startup, please feel free to call me. My email, my phone number is below, and we're here to help. So there would be, a webinar would not be complete without a proper disclaimer. Please feel free to read it, and here's some highlights. Onevest is not a broker dealer, but we are partnered with one. We don't provide any investment advice or recommendations, and we suggest that you call your lawyer or accountant or financial advisor for that. As most of you know, startup investing is very risky and it's highly illiquid. However, it does provide a great portfolio diversification and also uncorrelated returns. So just wanted you to know that. Now, our partners really helped in putting on this event today, and I'd like to specifically thank Robinhood Ventures, who's a phenomenal angel investment group out of the Philadelphia area, Investopedia, who is a media platform with over 15 million unique visitors per month, and they focus on evergreen financial content, so really finance education. Startup Investor are wonderful partners, and what they do is they're a media platform as well, and they provide startup investment recommendations. The Houston Angel Network, an angel group based out of Texas, great team. 37 Angels, a local angel group here in New York City, and as well Pensico Trust Company. Now, Pensico, we partnered with them because they allow investors to go ahead and invest in startups on Onevest through their IRA or Roth account. So in the event that there's an exit, a successful exit with the startups, there's significant tax benefits that you can take advantage of. Now, just to set the stage, this type of startups that you'll be able to see in this presentation and as well on Onevest are highly curated. We only accept about 3% of the startups that come to the platform because we're very selective, and we source our deals from a number of different places, including universities, accelerators, incubators, and also investors that are investing in a particular deal that are looking to fill the round. So we syndicate deals as well. We do perform due diligence on all the startups that receive investor funds. So we have a two-tiered due diligence approach. The first one is we do a heavy screening. We jump on the phone with the entrepreneurs. We take a look at the competitive landscape. We take a look at their pitch deck, etc. And if we feel like there's some good potential there, we'll put them on the platform. And when they get enough investor interest, we move through the second tier due diligence, which is a much more in-depth due diligence process that is performed by our broker-dealer partner. And once that's approved, we go ahead and we open an escrow account for that particular startups where all investor funds are put into until the startup reaches the funding goal. Now, the process of investing is pretty simple. You can go to onevest.com and you can browse all the different startup investment opportunities. We really encourage you to connect with the founders, message them. You can follow the startup if you're interested in getting updates. And when you're finally ready to pull the trigger, just simply click on the I'm ready to invest button on the startups page, and they'll launch you into the process of investing. You're going to fill out some paperwork, shouldn't take you more than a few minutes, And then when the paperwork's done, we'll go ahead and we'll invite you to transfer the funds in escrow, where your funds will be held until the startup reaches the goal. So for those of you who know how an escrow works, it's pretty simple. If the funding goal is not met, your money is returned in its entirety, minus wiring fees if there's any that apply. Otherwise, you get to hold your funds in escrow until the startup does raise the funds. And while your funds are in escrow, here's the good part. You can decrease your investment, increase your investment, or pull out, cancel your investment. So you have that flexibility, which is really nice. Now, the agenda for today, I'm going to invite Barbara Corcoran to speak in just a few minutes. She's going to be speaking about her startup investing experience, and then we'll get to do a live QA session with her. You can go ahead and you can write into the chat your questions, and I'll go ahead and moderate them. Now, Barbara Corcoran definitely does not need an introduction. She's an unstoppable woman. And, you know, she's somebody that took $1,000 loan and turned it into what is today a $5 billion business, real estate business. She's an accomplished author, a real estate contributor for NBC's Today Show, a shark on the hit television series Shark Tank, and also she holds 24 startups in her portfolio. So Barbara, thank you so much for being here today, and the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you very much. So the reason I like angel investing is it gets me to live my life all over again. I go right back to being 23 years old as a waitress, discovering that I'm going to start my own business. What a thrilling time that is. Everything to look forward to. And as I work with these young business women and businessmen helping to build their business, I get to live life all over again, walking in their shoes. What a thrill is that, all right? So that's what I most like about it. It makes me feel very young again because I get all the good stuff. And you're going to find if you build a giant business, the best days of your life are the early days when you're a cowboy, wondering if you're going to stay in business, wondering what you can do to make ends meet. Even though it seems so stressful at the time, when you look back at that, when you have a giant business and you're making a ton of money, believe it or not, it won't be as fun as those early days when you're starting a business. So that's what I most like about angel investing. Lucky for me, I got put on Shark Tank, so I get to have 8 to 10 young entrepreneurs walk in front of me every single day. I'm on that set out in California and get to pick who I like. What could be better than that? So this is who I pick and why, and what traits I'm actually looking for as I'm sitting there and hearing the pitch, and as I and my fellow sharks are questioning the people. I'm listening for only a few key traits that gets me to say to myself, man, I give them my money, this kid is going to go and I'm going to get my money back and I'm going to make money, because that's really what I'm doing as an angel investor. It's not a charity, it's a business deal. So number one, I'm always looking for someone who handles objections and stress very, very well. Because I have found that the entrepreneurs I invested in weren't very good at handling stress, weren't very good at overcoming objections, weren't very good at finding a way to answer the question in a logical way that you believe it. Those are the ones that never do well when they go out of the gate and really try to build their business. They're the people who are no good at overcoming objection. I have found that my clear winners, my most successful salespeople and entrepreneurs, I call them salespeople because you can't lead a business unless you're a salesman, I believe. All right, you can't hire that out from day one. It just doesn't work. So my most successful entrepreneurs are fabulous at overcoming objections every single day of their life, and they have an inability to feel sorry for themselves. I mean, everybody's entitled to feel sorry for yourself when something goes wrong, but my winners, they take less time. They're kind of like too stupid. Their IQ is too low for them to lay low. They get hit, and they're almost too stupid to stay there and relax a bit. They back up, go, oh, hit me again. Maybe not the highest IQ, but the perfect IQ for building a business. So that's one, overcoming objections. I could name every winning entrepreneur I've invested in, and every single one of them don't feel sorry for themselves. Every single one of them are great at overcoming objections. Is it learned? Is it in your genes? I don't know. But if it ain't there, you're not going to be an entrepreneur successfully. You might as well get a better job, better paid right from the get-go, working for the next guy. Number two, I like someone who has plain talk. What's plain talk? Nothing sophisticated. In a world where everyone's overeducated based on graduate school, business school, undergraduate, whatever they do, they have all the lingo in place of what they call valuation. It just starts there. Then there's a million kinds of phrases. When somebody starts talking too fancy to me, I know they're overeducated, gets in the way of success right there. And secondly, they can't communicate well. I want someone who has to say right straight to my eye, hey, my business is this is why it works, this is why it's better than the next guy, and this is my plan for making it big. Nice and simple. If a 5-year-old can understand it, that's a plain talker. That's the person that plain talks his way to success. Fancy talk just don't work when it comes to building business. I've learned to stay away from them. Next, I'm looking for someone not beginner passion, like, oh my God, this is the latest, greatest. Every entrepreneur I ever meet knows they have the best thing in the world. I'm not looking for that. That's like having a hot affair and being excited for the first 3 months to get to know them. Wait till you marry them, okay? This is about finding someone who's going to stay excited over the long haul. And what I'm doing with that is trying to size up. Do they have this beginner enthusiasm? Or are they the kind of people that can maintain enthusiasm and passion through the next 5 years of hell together? That's what I'm looking for. Someone who has long-term, not short-term passion. The next thing I look for is someone who can have a marketing difference. Marketing is half the success of building any business. So when I saw that pork barrel barbecue sauce was owned by 2 entrepreneurs and one of them looked like an adorable pig, do you know I wanted that business 5 times more? Because do you know what a marketing advantage it is? Actually look like an adorable pig if you're selling barbecue sauce. A wonderful advantage. And last, even though I could go on forever, I'm looking for someone who's over-prepared. Insecure people over-prepare. They prepare inside, outside, upside down. I do it myself. I can never get over my insecurity. That's a good thing for building a business. So when I saw Cousins Maine Lobster and bought into their business on Shark Tank, the one question I know, and all of the sharks failed to ask them is how long they've been in business. They talked about sales, monthly sales. They only had 2 months. Nobody got onto that. I bought into the business. I was shocked they were only in business for 2 months. But I closed anyway. You know why? Because they had watched every episode of Shark Tank for the last 5 years, wrote down every question a shark had ever asked anyone, and wrote 2 answers and practiced it before they went on the show. Is that the kind of business person who's not going to succeed? No, Jim and Saban are hugely successful. No surprise. They over-prepare for every single thing they do. And I think I'm out of time. That's like 5 minutes, I guess. That's it. I wish I could go on forever, but I picked some good ones there.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I think my favorite point that you drive home is really reducing the amount of time that entrepreneurs feel sorry for themselves. I mean, because you're going to get punched left and right, and really addressing those barriers and being able to bounce back is so important. Thank you.
Without that, nothing else works, even if you have the rest of the shooting match.
Yeah, exactly. So great. Barbara, we're going to move into live Q&As. For people that are on the line, please feel free to write into the chat with your questions. And if we can't get to your question, there's a lot of people, so we're going to try to get to as many questions as we can. And Barbara, the first question is from Tim. Tim would like to know, can you speak to a time that you failed and what you were able to learn from it?
I could speak to 100 times I've failed. That's my specialty. I found in building my business that took me 25 years that everything good only happened after I failed at something else. Now, I don't know if that's normal for everybody, but I'm a loser like that, and that's exactly what happened to me. I could tell you that I invented, or didn't invent, pardon me, wow, that's a huge exaggeration. I found the internet and registered Corcoran.com, which was my brokerage firm, because I had failed at a stupid venture that I had dreamt up called Homes on Tape. For all my apartments on videotape, people could pick their apartments from their lazy boy chair. Oh, it's amazing. I'll call it HOT for hot, Homes on Tape. Oh, I'm so cool. I got this great idea. Well, guess what? I blew my first $71,000 full profit for the year on that stupid idea. But you want to know something? In an attempt to save face, I found out from my husband, who was playing war games for the U.S. Navy, he was a Navy guy, that he played it this year on a new thing, he said, called the Internet. So I slammed those homes on tape on the Internet, and bang, bang, within the first week, I had 2 sales out of London. Do you think that was lucky? No. I was scrapping around for a way to save face because I had done a terrible failure and I wanted to recover. And that's when we went online. 2 years before my competition in the real estate business. Do you know what an advantage that was? And do you know how happy I was to register all my competitors' URLs under my name, which was legal then, and they had to call me and ask me for them back? Are you kidding me? It was a thrill. Everything I did, every huge success I had was on the heels of failure. I had none without it. It was a failure, it fell on my face. In fact, I started thinking after a while, hey, around here somewhere I'm going to get a big hit. I just failed. Something good's going to happen. And you know, it happened every single time.
Oh, that's great, Barbara. So the next question comes from John. John says, "Love your advice!" Exclamation point. How important is intellectual property to your decision to invest?
It's totally overrated, I have to say. It breaks my heart very often to see people spending a lot of money on patents, the defensive part of building a business. Let me protect what I have long before they even have their first sale. I frankly think that's good for the legal field because the attorneys make a lot of money early up. Okay. I really believe the right time to do all of that work is after you actually have people who want your stuff. Then you go and spend the money on that stuff. But no, I think it's grossly overrated. It's almost like the mandate from the business school of what you do in what order. I just don't happen to agree with it.
Hmm. That's really interesting. Perfect. So the next question comes from Chris. Chris would like to know, how actively involved are you with each startup that you invest in, and how do you think about allocating your time across your broad portfolio?
Well, for the first 2 years, I pissed away a lot of time working with everybody because I was kind of like my mother with 10 kids. Oh, I've got 5 new entrepreneurs. Let me give them equal time. Well, that was year 1 and 2. By year 3 at Shark Tank, I wisened up. I became a seasoned, mean-spirited angel investor. So this is what I do. When I close on a business after the due diligence, I spend as much time as I can trying to know the business and start working with an entrepreneur from the get-go. The minute I sense that the entrepreneur can't handle rejection, isn't smart enough, isn't fast enough, just don't get it, the minute I discover that, which happens fairly soon, I would say within a 2 to 3 month window, I don't spend any more time with them. My money's in there, and they might make it, but in my heart of hearts, I think they're never going to make it. They don't have what it takes to build a business. And so what I do when I close on a business is I get a great big photo of the entrepreneur. I frame it and mat it. First class, beautiful frame, and hangs in my office. The minute I realize this entrepreneur isn't going to make it, I turn it upside down. And why do I do that? So that I remember that I'm wasting my time. What you need is not the right business idea or the right business. What you must have is the right entrepreneur. So the minute I realize I don't have the right entrepreneur, I've made a mistaken judgment, and I've tried it out for a few months. I am very supportive. If they email me this or that, I'm happy to accommodate, but I don't drive that business and push on it anymore.
That's a very unique process, Barbara. I can appreciate that. So the next question comes from David. Now, David wants to know, what role does barrier to entry play in your analysis to making an investment?
Not any role at all, quite honestly, because there's always room for the next guy if you're good at what you're doing.
Hmm.
Most of the businesses that I have invested in, if anybody analyzes them on, are there barriers to entry? And also another analysis that a lot of people do, how competitive is that space? I would get an F on my report card with the great majority of the businesses. Let me tell you, barrier to entry is like false security. Okay, too much competition it makes you dampen your spirit, like you can't win. The big guys got it, you can't get there. Both of them are overrated.
Gotcha. And then when you're about to make an investment decisions, and this is Jerry that wants to know this, what signals do you look for before pulling the trigger?
Well, I'm making most of my investment decisions on Shark Tank, and then of course I'm also making investment decisions on Onevest because we're shopping Onevest all the time, looking for great deals in my syndication, which is Barbara Corcoran Venture Partners. So there's two different ways of doing it. One is show business, a little bit of pressure there to size something up with very little information. And so what I'm doing is I'm thinking, how much is it? How can they compete with the next guy who's in the same space? I go online. If they're selling popcorn for $4.98 and it costs them $2.98 to make it, not a wide margin, I'm seeing everybody else out there selling popcorn. Hey, Are they the best? Do they taste the best? Maybe, but how do they compete? What stores are they in? That kind of thing. If instead I have a little bit more leeway without the cameras rolling on Shark Tank, then I can take all the time in the world on Onevest to really analyze it upside down, inside out, in a left brain kind of way. But what really makes the deal or spoils the deal in the end or in the beginning, on Shark Tank in the beginning, it makes or spoils the deal, is the entrepreneur. When I'm doing it independently of Shark Tank, what spoils the deal at the end before I close, which makes me not close, is when I meet the entrepreneur. If they're no good, no matter what the paperwork said, no matter how good the analysis is, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. It doesn't have anything to do with the business.
Okay, great. And so Sapide would like to know what factors play a role in valuation of a startup. So, for example, how do you take a look at investments that are pre-revenue versus investments that already have revenue?
I don't like stuff with no revenue, period. I'm just not a believer. I'm not that naive. And there's too much stuff there with revenue where you can actually get your teeth on the teeth of the business, which is sales. So I'm not a pre-revenue type of girl. Just not. I couldn't be like the next greatest thing, like tomorrow's Apple computer, and everybody in the world is jumping on, going, this is it, this is it. No, no, no. Until there's a sale, I don't believe it.
I hear that. Okay, so Carol wants to know, what is your greatest fear and how do you manage that fear?
What is she asking for, in business or personally?
I think probably in startup investing.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what my little trick for it, okay? A couple of tricks I had. Everybody comes into the business world with their insecurities. It's your friend. Insecurities are my friend, my best friend. I was a dumb kid in school. I never had the answers. When I got called on to read out loud, I learned shame, how to feel shameful. Okay, that injures somebody for life. Everybody's got their thing. Maybe a bad parent, I had great parents, whatever. A boyfriend that killed you, who cares? Everybody comes into adulthood with their issues, their scars that they have to work around. I've learned to take that and make it my mantra. Oh yeah, you think I'm stupid? Watch this. Oh yeah, you don't believe me that I'm smart and could do this? Oh yeah, watch this. I got a chip on my shoulder and I use it to my advantage. And so I have taught myself to have a new tape recorder in my head every time my childhood tape kicks in, which stays with you for life. You might attend a fancy shrink. I probably shouldn't. I haven't. I probably would need one. Maybe it would help me. But you're not going to get rid of that injury. And so I welcome it in and I try to beat it with a new tape, my adult tape. So my new tape goes like this. I'm feeling insecure. I'm thinking I can't walk through that door. I'm thinking I'm not welcome. I'm thinking it's a boys club, girls club, I can't get in. They got it. They're smart. Whatever all that insecurity crap is, I stop the tape and I have a new tape that goes like this. Fuck you. You're not getting all right? I'm coming down the middle. I have just as much right to be rich like you, just as much right to be successful. I'm going to get this business. I'm going to take it, and watch me do it. And that's the tape that I kick in. It stamps out that old tape. Does it go away? No. But can I kick it in faster? Yes. And what it enables me to do is at least reach out so I get my very next rejection. Reach out to try to grab it, to get slapped in the face. But you know what? I feel prideful that I reached out versus talk myself out of it, which is a danger to those old tapes. They make it feel right that you shouldn't reach. And that's what has helped me get through more doors than anything else.
Well, that's amazing, Barbara. And the next question, and we have time for a few more questions here. The next question comes from Jonathan. Jonathan would like to know, how important is market size to you, Barbara, and financials to the overall investment? And what are the top 3 reasons why you would actually pick a startup to invest in?
Well, that is the most fully loaded question. Let's take about 3 hours to answer it. The first part, the top what?
Sure. So the first part is, how important is market size and financials when you're taking a look at investments?
Those two first, market size and financials. I think market size is overrated. I mean, I have to tell you, everybody who pitches on Shark Tank, with a rare exception, the weak entrepreneurs revert to market size when they've run out of stuff in their belt. In other words, they're not doing well on the pitch, you're not thinking well of them, they don't have the sales, and then they fall back to that great security blanket or pie in the sky security blanket, which is market size. In America today, We are selling blah blah blah. And just think, sharks. We only have less than 1 percentage of that market. Well, guess what? Right. That's what counts. You have point percentage of that market. Who cares about the market size? Overrated. Now, what was the second part of that question?
The second part was financials.
Okay, financials, again, I'm sorry, I'm sounding not very sophisticated. Another category of being overrated. The piece of the financials that make a difference are what are your sales, what's your cost to produce the product, and what do you sell for? That's it. That's it. Those are the only numbers that count. All the rest of it, particularly when people revert to projections, forget it. I projected my sales for 25 years. I was never once right. You know why? You project, and even when you get smart, you're better projecting, but life happens. The business happens. Real life, the objections happen. New industries change, okay? The game changes. You can't project. Meaningless.
Yeah, great. And then the second part to that question, and you're right, it was a fully loaded question. What are the three most important reasons why you would pick an investment?
Oh, number one, the entrepreneur. Number two, it makes reasonable common sense. And number three, there's a lot of people who could use it. Not a many thing. A lot of people who could use it. I'll give you two great examples, or one, and I'll come up with the next in a minute. When I saw Daisy Cakes on Shark Tank, the question was in my head. She wasn't talking market size. How big is the cake market? Who the heck knows? Especially homemade cake market that she makes with her mother in the South. How big is that market? Probably bad answer, okay? But I sat there and I thought, how many people watching tonight eat cake? And I figured probably at least a third to a half. No surprise that her cakes went through the roof and never stopped as a result of airing on Shark Tank, okay? Let me give you a bad example. Well, if it doesn't, honestly, if I can't answer, a lot of people at home are going to buy, I don't buy the business, because you know what a head start it is when you could sell a lot on Shark Tank like that? Baby is off and running. It's like going from kindergarten to graduate school overnight. Boom, they're off. Go, come to the finish line. Just come around the bend, just come around the bend. Yo, good thing, okay? But what would be a good example of poor market size, like on a Shark Tank airing that people don't buy? Oh, maybe a new paper clip that's made for doctors' papers. I'm making up some nonsense, okay, because I can't think of anything. How many doctors want that paper clip for their particular size papers? That kind of stuff. Never good. Anytime it's narrow amount. And also, when I'm investing in businesses outside of Shark Tank, I have to tell you that's $1 million question. How many people would buy it? The bigger the mass out there, the better. But what's your point of difference? Why are you better than the next guys?
Perfect. So Barbara, the last question, and really appreciate your time. Can you talk about a successful investment that you've made, or one of the most successful investment you've made to date?
Well, it's two ways to analyze successful investment. One is based on dollars in my pocket, and clearly that one is Grace and Lace. Can't believe you pay me enough money and I can't remember your name. Grace and Lace. All right. Why is Grace and Lace so terrific as my best investment to date? Because I invested $60,000 and within 6 months got $260 back, and the checks keep rolling in. Who wouldn't want to be in that position with a new business? I love them. Grace and Lace. I say my prayers at night now. Dear Grace and Lace, give me more money. Shower me with more money when I wake up in the morning. Okay? My most successful investment financially. My investment with the greatest upside potential, I would have to say, is Cousins Maine Lobster. Have I made money? Have I been repaid back by them? Definitely. To the degree of Grace and Lace, no. But they start an online business. They're opening a restaurant. They have now 9 franchises sold. They have 3 company-owned trucks, all in a year and a half. 2 phenomenal entrepreneurs where the sky's the limit, and they're greedy. They're never happy. They always want to bite off more than they can chew. I'm going for the ride. Help them however they want. I believe long-term, to date, out of all the, close to 30 businesses I've invested in, I think they have the best upside potential. So I'd have to say that to date, they are my most successful business.
Oh, well, Barbara, that's amazing. We're out of time. Again, it was such a treat to have you here with us, and giving your time. Thank you so much, and look forward to. Oh, sure, go ahead.
You ask great questions. You do such a great job with Onevest. You, of all people, should be very proud of yourself.
Thank
Really,
you.
very proud of yourself. You
Thank
really
you,
should.
Barbara. It means a lot. Well, thank you so much, and I know that you're very busy. Have a great day, and you're welcome to stay for the rest of the webinar. We have some great pitches, and with that being said, we'll move on to the next thing. Thank you again. Again, please contact me if you have any questions about startup investing on Onevest or any particular startup. My contact information is at the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much for your time, everybody, and have an awesome day. Bye-bye.